I remember I used to see a lot of crows and that sparrows, that brown and white sparrows. But now we will see them. Is this a of damage environment that we have?
Yeah. As far as the crows are concerned, they are still very clearly large. Out of both the species which you mentioned, of the sparrow and crows, they are quite in big numbers in many parts of India, so they is not to worry. But first the crows. First, both these species are commensal to human being. Commensal means they live in the human-dominated environment quite easily because there is no problem for them, or they were weaker, less problem. But the crows are dependent mainly on garbage and other things. In jungle, you will find very low population of crows. In the cities, you have got huge population of crows, particularly because of the garbage which we throw out. They are dependent on the garbage. Hmm. So as you clean up the city, then there's less food for the crows, and the crows will decrease in number. But in the rural area, there is still in big number. So it is not a worrying part that the crows have disappeared from some areas, and they are not threatened with extinction or whatever. Yeah. So there is it's not a big worrying part for us. And in Mumbai, there are some areas like Kalyan and beyond Mumbai. There are some areas where thousands of crows are found, and there was a roost of nearly 20,000 crores in one place. But the roost is now less in number, but it is not, at least I am not worried about the decline with the crows in some certain areas because they are doing quite well. Same thing is with the house sparrow. House sparrow is dependent on, not totally dependent, but the thing is that it has adapted to the human dominated environment used to be. So the major reason for the decline of the house sparrow is not these watchtowers or not watch. I mean, really the uh, mobile tower. Most of the people think because mobile tower came and the house sparrow decreased. But I did a project on this and didn't find any correlation between the presence of the mobile towers and the decline in the house sparrows. House sparrows have declined mainly because of two reasons. There are not nesting sites in the new buildings. Mm. In my building where I live, there's no nesting site. So you have to put a nest boxes up there. There's no. In the olden houses, you would have in the thatch houses, you have got many places where the house sparrows can make nest. But in the modern building, do you see any nesting site for them? There's no cranny, there's no hole. So the nesting sites had disappeared from the modern buildings, and another reason is that when their houses sparrows are nesting for their chicks, growing chicks, they need proteinous diet insect, small insects. Oh, very very small insects because they can't kill a big insect like a grasshopper or anything like that because they depend on the what we call is a small insect which used to be present in very large number in the lawns. When they, we have got gardens, but the lawns is almost like empty lawns because we don't have those insects. So the food is missing as far as the growing chicks is concerned. So if the food is not available to the chicks, then the population will decline, or the chicks will not be very healthy. So we have removed the in the modern buildings. We don't have the nesting sites, and in the lawns of in the open areas, not necessarily lawns, but even the shrubs and hedges and other places also, because of the pesticide, there are very very few small insects on which the adult hog sparrows can feed to the chicks. So these are the two major reasons, and then there are many minor reasons. And interestingly, we found one minor reason, but is that in the olden days, they used to transport grains in the bora. What do you call it? Bora. But with the wheel by the what is it? The material like rope material, like that, similar to that.
It is Bora. It is a rope. packet like stuff in which the grains are packed.
Yes. Yes. So when it is being transported from, say, from the crop field, because the grain is kept in the bora in the crop field, and from there it is put it in the bullock cart. And so when the bullock cart is moving, then the some grains will fall down on the road or wherever. Then from the bullock cart or the small truck, the grain is transported to another one. There also some grain will fall off. Because in the pora they have got a small um, spaces where the grain, from where the grain can come out. No, sorry,
A very tiny space are there in the book.
slightly grain will always come out,
Huh.
and then on there, from a truck or a pull up the boras or the grain is transported to the mandis. Hmm. Where you will see they are capped and there will be hundreds of thousands of the sparrow used to be there and they're eating from whatever. From mandis, it will go to the shop, the small kirana shop. In the kirana shop, the boras are kept outside because the rice and they show that this is the wheat and this is whatever, bajra and other. So there also some grain will come out and people don't mind it if the sparrows are moving around and eating something. Now these boras have been changed to the plastic bag.
Hmm.
So nothing will come out of the plastic bag. So at every stage, where the sparrows used to get some food, now in the plastic bag you are transporting the wheat or grains. There is no spillover. Hmm. So this is also one of the reasons, but not the main reason. I would say this is one of the minor reasons. So, so these are many reasons for the two main reasons for the decline of the sparrow. Sparrows can be brought back. Hmm.
Okay.
In the cities, if we have got hedges and trees and lawns and they are not by pesticide in the used, so the sparrows can be brought back by providing artificial nesting site, nest boxes we can provide.
Oh.
So, and many people do it.
Hmm.
We also visited this in Mumbai. So, nest boxes you can provide. We can feed them with grains, but the grains are mainly used for adults and like that. So their grains are also fed to the chicks. But the chicks needs, as I said earlier, chicks need proteinous diet.
Insect.
So these are the small steps which can take, we can bring back the houses back, at least in some parts of the cities.
How can schools and institutions can promote the basically the field of ornithology? How can these institutions make the students to have interest in the in birds and their conservations?
So the best way to make people interested in conservation is to take them to the natural game. Hmm. In classroom, if you teach the Paryavarna Bachao or Ye Karo, they will not understand it very. Hmm. So if you take them to the field, of not necessarily you have to go to a national park or a science field, just your lawn, I mean, garden. In a most of the cities have some gardens. You take them to the garden, and there you can show them different species of not only birds only, but flies and insects and when it's and as well as shrubs and herbs and flowers. So some people will get interested in that. Now, if you want to show the horror of the pollution, so if you take them and show that this river or the wetland is polluted, then it will remain in their mind that and you show a good wetland which is unpolluted with flowers and lotus and some birds moving around or flying around or sitting swimming in the water. So that will this contrast will remain in the mind. Hmm. If you pollute, then there's very little biodiversity left. If you keep it clean, then there's a lot of biodiversity. This is much better than teaching in a class. Of course, we have to teach some theoretical things in the classes. I mean, there's no substitute the class teaching. But for teaching nature, it is best to take them. And I would say that if going to nature or the park should be made a compulsory part of the teaching process. Hmm. which is at present it is not. We also tried when I was in Bombay, Netflix with IT. We had a conservation education center with where we bring our children, school children, college, and not only school children, college teachers, or college students also, and teachers also. Hmm. So once they come to our conservation education center, it is a different world for them. And they all were fascinated by that. Whatever we have got some good teachers, educators to teach and different things. One more thing which we did it in Mumbai, and I must thank my colleagues there, Dr. Shobha Lakshmi and others, that we made a course for teachers training exercise or teachers training course. Hmm. Because if you teach the teacher, then the teacher will be every year teaching the students. Hmm. So teachers training is also extremely important, and many teachers come forward like that because they are all interested, and when they see the enthusiasm of the student, they will also try to learn and they try to improve their knowledge about nature. So we should, in colleges and schools, we should have a teachers training. Hmm. And the teacher should be taken to along and the student, because then it will be a replication effect. I can teach 30 students or 40 students, and it's quite costly for me or I even to go and or bring the student. But the teacher can teach probably in her lifetime or his lifetime many thousands of students. So we have to make aware for the teachers to the conservation issues and about environmental issues. I must also add here that it is not the school children; it is also the decision makers who have to be taught of conservation, because today they are taking the decision today. We can't wait for student to become, say, after in 20, 20, 30 years, he or she becomes a district collector and then be taking decision. So we should also have a course and or the exercise or taking them to the decision makers. That should be done at a higher level. Percent and many decision makers are excellent. Many district magistrates are excellent conservationists also. And I know many in my book also I have mentioned there is one chapter about the conservationist district magistrates who have played a very important role in conservation wherever they go. So once they are convinced, once they are converted, then all their decisions, or not, but the most of the decisions are not damaging to the environment, but playing a positive role.
Okay, Professor.